Hello, friends. Welcome and namaste. And let's get right to it. We're going to start laying down on our backs. Have a block where you can grab it. Maybe use a little bit of the abdominals and the low back muscles to lower yourself down. And then once you get here, let's take a few moments. You know, I love beginning awareness if you've been with me for a bit. So you can have the feet wide and the knees leaning in. You could have the legs extended out. Bring your arms out a little bit, about 45 degrees, palms up, something like that. And as you soften into this shape, tune into where the body is at this moment in time. A couple of reminders. We try to do this without adding a story onto it, without judging, right? Just simply observation. I tend to be kind of a systematic scanner. I start, in my face and kind of travel down my body, noticing the various bits and pieces, but that is not the only way to do it. Just if you're lost and trying to kind of figure out where to start. Take a few moments and notice your breath. And do notice the belly. If there's tension in the belly, pardon me, try to release all of the tension in your belly. And as that tension melts away, notice how the belly can then rise and fall on the breath. And today we're going to accentuate the exhale. So you'll do a regular soft belly breath inhale, right? And then when you exhale, start as you would doing a soft belly breath exhale. But at the very bottom, pardon me, go ahead and pull your belly down to your spine just a little bit. And I want you to think of it coming from just a little bit above your navel, right? Your belly button. So do that a few times. It's a soft belly breath. You inhale, you exhale, but at the end of the exhale, you're going to do just a little bit of a pulling down of the belly towards the spine. You'll get a little extra expelling of the air. So we're not moving fast, we're not moving hard. Okay, now we're going to do a little add on. This is a strange one, I know, but I'm going to take a moment and describe it. It's called Agni Sara. And the way I'm going to teach it today is that you take an inhale and then you take an exhale. You don't have to do that extra little of punching out of the air, right? Just take a regular exhale. And then you're going to keep the air out. You are not breathing in, but you're going to expand your ribs as if you were taking an inhale. And then let the belly do a little pull down so you have kind of a vacuum effect in your belly, right? So take a regular inhale and exhale, regular exhale. Now keep the exhale out. Expand your ribs as if you're inhaling. Vacuum the belly down. And then come back to an inhale. So I'm going to do it once without talking. If you need to see it, this would be the one to watch. It's harder to do when I'm talking. Try and do that about 3 to 4 times for yourself. Take your time with it. Again, we don't get more benefit if we do more of them necessarily or do them faster. It's really the intention we're bringing to it, slow and steady, mindful, right? And after you've done the next one, whenever that is for you, let's call it complete. And just come back to a regular breath. Okay, so if your feet were extended out, let's all of us put our feet on the ground, walk our feet about as wide as our mat, and tee the arms out. Windshield wiper twist. You all know this one pretty well if you're with me regularly. I mean, it's in a lot of classes. Most teachers teach it, but I teach it pretty much every class. Maybe the head turns the opposite way. I have shared before, but I will share 5,000 more times in my life probably. This, I think, is one of the kindest things you can do for the discs between the vertebrae in your back, particularly low mid back. Right? And then the next time your knees are over to the right, go ahead and stay over there. Push your left foot a little down into the left. It's on a sticky mat, it doesn't move. I hug my left glutes into the socket, and the front of my left hip gets an opening. And just stretch into that. I always think of this one as almost like a inhale, come on up. You're getting out of bed in the morning. The legs over to the left. Push the right foot a little down and over towards the right side of your mat. Hug your right glute into the hip socket, opening the front of the right hip, hopefully breathing. And then go ahead and come back up. We're going to do one more. Let your knees come up and over to the right. Some of us, depending on our joints, we just step the right heel closer to the buttocks. Some of us will grab the ankle or top of the foot, and I call it a ballerina point. We kind of tuck the toes under. Don't let your knee go too wide. All of us reach our knee forward to the front of the mat. When I'm in this pose, half hero, I have to pull my belly button or my frontal hip points up a little bit, my belly down just a bit to keep my low back long so it doesn't get hurt here. Release gently, slowly that foot back to where it was, knees up and over to the left, pull the right heel into the buttocks or grab that ankle and tuck your toes under. All of us, let's reach our knee forward to the front of our mat. Hopefully we're feeling the front of the right thigh. Again, if you need a little bit of low back protection or just assistance, right, we just pull our frontal hip points up, release our buttocks, flush down, and breathe. Go ahead and release that leg back out, knees up. Let's let's keep our feet wide and bring our knees in for just a second. We'll do one upper body thing. Arms by the side. Bring them in a little bit, right? Inhale, the palms face each other as you start to reach those arms up and overhead. Let's just wake up the upper body a little bit here. And exhale, bringing those arms back down. Now, I want you to notice that for most bodies, when we start to inhale the arms up overhead, you're going to keep doing it. Inhale over, exhale back down. How your ribs come up off of the earth, your low ribs, the lowest of the ribs, right? Okay, so just notice how that happens. You don't have to change anything. That is not wrong. That is the path of least resistance in your body. But I do want you to play with the next time you come overhead, try to ground your low floating ribs down. Keep a little space between the floor and the low back, your natural lumbar curve, and only go as far overhead as you can with the arms this time without the low ribs coming off of the earth, right? And that may shift or change the experience. Again, it's not right, it's not wrong, you're just noticing. Do that one more time. Try not to let the low floating ribs come off of the ground this time, right? Now keep your arms overhead and you're going to bring your feet in. You're going to go ahead and you're going to reach your right heel up to the sky. Now we're just getting into the hamstrings. I want you to notice that when you reach that heel up, how more than likely, right, to keep the hamstrings in the shorter position, your low back came down to the floor. Try to pick your low back up off the floor a little bit. The low ribs stay down, the heel pushes up, and bring that foot down. And then go ahead and reach the left heel up. Again, if I didn't do anything about it, my low back would round down to the ground. That's partly because my hamstrings aren't really open quite yet, right? So I'm going to go ahead and maybe bend my knee if I need to. I'm going to reach my buttocks bones forward, find a little space between my floor and my low back, keep my low floating ribs down, and then push the heel up. Bring that left foot down, bring those arms down by the side, pause. Let's properly stretch the hamstrings for a couple things we're going to do down here. Bring your right leg in, but interlace behind the thigh for this. You're going to push your right heel up to the sky. And if you can't interlace, you could use a strap or your hands. But I would love the resistance, right? Either imagined into your hands if they aren't there or into your hands. Push your thigh forward into your hands and notice how that brings your low back into its natural curve, right? And then keep those low ribs down. That's not every body's pattern, but that's a lot of bodies, right? Keep that heel reaching up and just let this simply be opening the back of the leg for other things through the rest of the sequence. If you have your shoulders lifting up and you're rolling towards the crown of the head, I'm showing that, right? See if you can lengthen the crown of the head back behind you and soften the shoulders down. Neutral spine, right? Let's take our right toes and circle them a couple of times while we're here. Go the other way. And then bring that heel back to center. Bring your arms down by the side. Keep all of your natural curves, your elongated spine. Turn on your deepest four of the core. That's been the past 2 weeks. And slowly start to lower that leg down. You can put a little pressure in the left foot. That can be helpful, right? And then go ahead and put the right foot on the ground. Bring the left leg in, interlace, push the heel up. And again, when you do that, if your body gets to do whatever the heck it wants, the low back comes down to the floor. Understandable, right? Now push your thigh forward into the hands, but keep your shoulders up. Try to keep the buttocks bones reaching forward, even as you keep a little bit of space between the floor and the low back. Whatever your natural space is, we're all different with that. Keep the low floating ribs down. Push the heel up now. And then go ahead and circle the left foot a couple of times. Go the other way. Push the heel up one more time. Bring the arms by the side, trying to maintain, right? Find the adductors, the pelvic floor, find the corset, find the multifidi of the low back, and lower that left leg down without any of that changing. Just the leg moving. Left foot on the ground and pause. Okay, adding on glute bridges. Arms by your side. Lift your ball mounds of your toes. So it's not about the toes lifting up so much as the ball mounds, and we're on the very center of the heel. Imagine that you had a block between your thighs or you do have a block nearby. You could use it at this time. We will use it later. You're going to go ahead and you're going to lift your hips every time you inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to lower down. Again, don't start doing a faster pace. Otherwise, you're doing a faster breath. You're signaling to the body that you would like it to release cortisol into the system. We already have plenty of that going on in other places. We don't need that right now, right? Or that's a big generalization. Most of us don't. Maybe you do, right? But otherwise, work on that beautiful 5 count breath that we often play with. 5.6-second inhale, 5.6-second exhale. One of the best breaths you can do for your body. I'm just going to call it the 5 count breath because all that other stuff has a lot to say. And the next time you're up, stay up with the hips. Bring your ball mounds and your toes down, but keep some weight in the heels so you keep your glutes turned on. Pull your feet, traction them just gently back towards the shoulders. They don't move, they're on a sticky mat, but your hamstrings turned on. Your hips might have gotten higher just because you have another set of muscles helping hold you here. Don't let the knees go wide if you're not using a block. Now keep all the lower body stuff. Grab your mat, rock your shoulders underneath you. I'll get you to the interlace next time, I promise, right? Pull your mat apart like a piece of paper and see if you can't feel how that fires the upper back muscles and starts to shorten and strengthen the upper back. And come on down. So the whole of the back body, for the most part, was turning on and working. You can keep that block in there if you want, but I'm going to suggest you take it out because you might do a leg lift. You might not. Okay. Arms by the side. Lift the ball mounds of the toes, just heels, lift up. Keep those glutes turned on, bring the toes back down. Traction your heels towards your shoulders, gently, lightly, not much, right? Feel the hamstrings, don't lose that. Grab your mat, or if you're ready for interlace your hands behind and rock your shoulders underneath you, but keep your glutes turned on, fired up, right? Keep your heels tractioning to your shoulders the whole time. Now from there, you might just do this. Maybe you lift your right heel, not your toes, your heel. Now, what do you need to turn on to ensure that nothing moves if we lift the right leg? Maybe you inhale the right leg in, maybe you just visualize doing this part and you push the right heel up. Visualization does a lot in the body, right? It'll trigger a lot of muscles that would have turned on to do it. Bring the right foot down. Okay, recalibrate. If the right hip dropped, etc., find neutral. Imagine the block between the thighs, yada, 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 yada. Lift just the left heel. Stay there for just a second, right? Don't rush into it. What do you got to turn on? You might stay here and visualize. You might bring the left knee towards the chest. Reach the left heel up to the sky. Push, push. Right heel down, left heel up. And come on down. Whew. Lower, on, down. Breathe. So we have one more, what I think is a pretty powerful, powerful abdominal exercise. And then we'll do a release before we come up. So this one goes like this. Arms by your side. You're going to push your heels up to the sky, right? And again, I want you to notice, I don't care who you are, my body will always do this, and I have to invite it into the elongated spine, right? I go into flexion. My low back is now flat on the ground. So I'm going to bend my knees a little bit, reach my buttocks bones forward, find a little space between my floor and low back, but keep my ribs down. I'm infamous for flaring my ribs personally. And then I'm going to push my heels up, and I'm not going to straighten my legs all the way if my low back goes back down to the ground. I would rather have you in your natural lumbar curve than have super straight legs here, okay? And I'm going to take that block and put it between my knees-ish, thighs-ish, somewhere in that realm, right? Move gently into the block. I'm going to say it one time. Imagine you're peeing. Stop yourself from peeing midstream. You can do the push-pull on the thighs if that helps you find corset. That's been the past 2 weeks, right? The multifidi and the low back are already fired up because we asked them to turn on when we asked the low back to pick up off the floor. Now from there, you're going to lower your legs about a couple of inches. Maybe it's a millimeter for you. And try not to, you can push down a little bit into your arms and your hands, but try not to use the arms to do the work of the core, if that makes sense. Find a happy medium if you do use your arms. Otherwise, keep the upper body soft. Check into your jaw and your neck because they love to do the work of the core. It's a huge pattern for the majority of humans, right? And don't let your belly bust open. I want you to seam, right? Knit your fabric of your belly together. Drop your heels, whatever that is. Maybe it's a millimeter, maybe it's a couple of inches. I want to push down on my hands so bad right now on my shoulders, and I can use them a little bit. Don't use all of them. Don't skirt the work of the core. Bend the knees and bring them in. Remove the block. Feet on the ground, pause. Before we go into a release, you can, I'm not going to take it away from you, but you might just pause for a moment knowing it's coming after we do one more of those, right? We love to fidget in between poses. Try to bring your awareness to what you're sensing in your body. Okay. One more time. Block between the knees/thighs. Reach the heels up. Keep the knees a little bit bent while you reach your buttocks bones forward and pull your low back off the floor a little bit. Just your natural curve, that's all. Low floating ribs stay down and knit the abdomen in. Pull those frontal hip points into each other because if your belly busts open, you're actually working the muscles the wrong way and you could do damage to the linea elbow, right? Maybe the legs straighten a little bit. Now you have the option of leaving the arms by the side and using them a little bit as you go, or you can reach your arms overhead. Don't let those ribs lift. Do not let those ribs lift. Keep your low back in its natural curve and let those heels lower to your first stop. We're just doing 2 stops today, right? And do not go to the ground and like hover. Don't do that shit. That is you just trying to be macho and pushing and forcing your body into something, right? And probably you're not in alignment. If I was with you, I could probably find a whole bunch of ways that you actually weren't working the muscles that we're trying to work. Maybe those heels drop a little lower, push those heels out, straighten the legs, a little bit of curve in the lumbar, just a little bit. Low ribs are still down on the ground. They never lifted up. And be really careful your belly's not busting up, right? You can still have all those other things going on with your belly bulging to the sky, and that's not healthy over time in those muscles. Bring the knees in. I feel very strongly about that, by the way. Way too many people with hernias and various things, splitting the linea alba, and their belly not being able to come back in because it doesn't have the fascia holding it, etc. Okay, let's go ahead and let those knees sway a little bit, right center, left center. And go ahead and circle the knees. I used to work my core that way, by the way. It took me a long time to switch that pattern. Go ahead and go the other way. And so all those years I thought I was doing all that great work, I was actually not doing that great work, and some of it was damaging. Coming back to center. Okay. Bring those feet down. And I think I said we were going to get up, but I lied. Does that make, I'm a liar. I want to do one other thing. Pretty much everything we're doing today is on the ground floor work, but powerful core work, right? Okay, here's the last little bit on the floor, I think. Bring the block in between your thighs. Feet hip distance, right? All the things. Bring your arms down by your side. Again, last week, the last 2 weeks worth of work. Gently move into the block, just gently. You don't need a lot, right? Imagine you're peeing. Stop yourself from peeing midstream. Put your hands on your thighs. Do the push-pull. Really bring those frontal hip points in and knit the fabric of the front abdomen. The low back, it picks up just a little bit off the floor. That's the multifidi, but don't let your ribs pick up. Okay, now from there, go ahead, keep all of that turned on. Either just lift up your heels and work from here and visualize, or lift your legs up in a tabletop. Feel what wants to shift and move out of that pattern that we created, right? For me, it's the belly wants to bust wide up to the sky. And then from there, go ahead and tee your arms out. Now you can keep yourself in the center, right? Or you might start to exhale the legs over to the right. Don't go too far. Don't worry about getting down to the ground. Inhale up. Start smaller so you really check into the alignment, right? And then over to the left. And again, it's not like this is the only way to do it. This is the right way. That's not why I say these things. But it's so easy to work muscles that are not helpful, right? Or that get overworked and then they get tense and then they actually get weak. If you have tension that lives in a muscle or if it's constantly being worked, it can actually weaken the muscle, right? And not strengthen it. So be kind. Maybe turn the head the opposite way of the knees and pin that opposite shoulder and start to go a little lower. Don't get crazy with it, right? And as you move into this one, a couple of the things to notice. One, your heels are probably moving into each other. Separate your heels out. Try not to let your heels go wide. Two, your knees are probably coming closer to your chest as you're moving to the side and coming back up to center. Try to leave the knees over the hips the whole time, that 90-degree angle. Three, chances are great, a shin starts to kick, or the foot kicks up a little bit when you go over to the side. So again, try not to move the lower body from its what I'm going to call stabilized position and let the twisting happen from your waist, right? The side waist specifically. And then the next time you finish the left, come back to center, bring those feet down, pause. Breathe. Let the belly be soft. Let the pelvic floor be soft. Can you? Would be a good question. I've gotten I am now more able to release muscles, especially those. But again, for years, I didn't. They were incredibly tense from dysregulated nervous system and caused me some grief in my reproductive organs and my digestion. Okay, we got one more thing. It's part of the same series, by the way, so I'm not completely a liar that time. Bring that block in between the thighs. Find 1, 2, 3, 4, get really stable, and then try to lift though just the heels or the legs into tabletop. And then some of us will work from here to do the twist again. Some of us are going to reach our heels up to the sky. Don't let your low back come down to the floor. Bend the knees a little more if you need to do that, and have your heels above your hips-ish, but they don't have to be exact. It's not exact science. Just don't have them too far forward. And same deal. So we're going right, center, left, center. I suggest, especially on this one, because when you extend the legs, they become more of a weight, that you turn your head and really pin that opposite shoulder down, right? Same stuff. I'm trying not to let my heels move into the midline, right? I'm trying to keep my inner groin moving forward. I didn't say that on the last one, but that's essentially what that is, right? If you're not using your inner groin, then it reflects in the feet. You might not go as far, but chances are great you're working harder, even without dropping down further, because you're working with more weight. That's physics right there, right? I'm not the biggest science girl, but I love how it comes into yoga. For me, a decent amount where I can see geometry or physics or various things at play. If they had taught it to me that way in school, maybe I would have been more interested and done better. Come back to center. Go ahead and release the block. Bring the feet down. Release. Bringing the knees into the chest. Go all the way over to the right this time. Let the right toes come down. Pinky toe come down to the ground. Let the knees move away if they want to. Maybe right hand on the left thigh. Maybe not. Maybe head turns left, and more than anything, just soften that left shoulder. Breathe. We're going to inhale. You can glue the legs together to use more core, I'm going to go softer left leg than right leg since we've already done a lot of work. Let the legs move over to the left. Right? Left hand might come onto right thigh, it might not. You might turn your head to the right, but above all, soften, and especially that right shoulder. And just let the body unwind. Come back into that breath. See if that breath doesn't help you do some of that softening business. Coming back up to your center. Go ahead and put your feet down on the ground. Actually, before we go into Shavasana, let's rock. So let's grab our pinky edge of the feet, and if you feel like rocking, and feel free to move and have freedom of movement here. And all I mean by that is maybe one leg straightens, another one bends a little more than a happy baby. Maybe they circle, whatever that is for you. Just feel free to move pretty freely. It's legal to linger, as T.S. Little says. Feel free to stay in a position if it feels really delightful. And then when you're ready, now let us either have the feet wide and the knees leaning in, constructive rest, or legs extending out, breathing. When I did all those twists, I squiggled down my mat a good ways. Find that softness wherever you're working from. And my hope is, I didn't talk about it a ton during the class, but we worked a lot with the solar plexus chakra, right? A lot of us feel kind of powerless right now, trying to figure out how to get involved or what our purpose is in general, like all these various things. And so, maybe we're having a hard time digesting because we've had a lot of stress and cortisol in our body. So maybe we feel a little more centered. So I'd love you to bring your awareness to that area in the center of your body, just above your navel. So if you kind of come above your navel about 2 inches or so, right? And then drop down towards the spine till you're right in the center of the front and back body. And I want you to imagine that you have your own little golden sunshine in there. And that's fire, it's heat, it's transformation. So you might even imagine that it is emitting a beautiful golden yellow, and you can imagine that color moving throughout your body. If you want to imagine that it has heat, and you can feel the heat. And we're going to end from our backs today. So, my collective wish for us today is, may we know we are worthy. May we become empowered. And may we walk around with confidence, knowing that we have something to contribute to the good of the all. Namaste, friends.